everybody. Welcome back to the show, the Film Tangent Show. Jake and I were just in the midst of trying to figure out where the song "This Is Real, This Is Me" comes from. I thought it was High School Musical. Jake, correctly, I have to add, said it was Camp Rock, and I don't know what that says about us, but it says something.
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of concerning when you think about it that
we're
I know that.
we're watching a lot of Disney, and seemingly Jake was watching more Disney than I was. He
I
out
guess
Disneyed
so.
me, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
potentially, dude. Well, I am an often correct person, I would say,
yeah,
I got that. Yeah. I was one of the I was patient zero for the Neuralink brain chip, dude.
yeah, dude.
That's why.
You have to correct the what they're saying about you in the streets because they're in the streets. They say that you are a not often correct person. In the
Yeah.
streets, the way they're talking about you, you're often as correct as you are incorrect. You're a
Yeah.
fifty-fifty kind of guy.
Well, they can go to hell, dude. They don't listen to film tangents. They're not in the know, dude.
Yeah, I guess not.
Then
Um,
you ain't listening to the people in the know. What's that from? Oh, that's Breaking Bad, right? That's Huel.
dude, I
Like,
don't know.
that's not what we heard. Well, you ain't listening to the people in the know.
The folks in the know. That's where Fim Tandis is at, man. Um, Folks, welcome back. Jake, to start us off, I want to go over some movie news. Just some stuff that maybe slipped by us, that maybe our audience knows about, or that maybe they don't. And they're going to be learning about it right here with us. Are you ready?
Yeah. They're going to leave a little more learned.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Get some edification out of this film tangents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today I read that Jim Carrey is returning to the Grinch. They're making a Grinch.
What?
They're making a Grinch sequel, and Jim Carrey's coming back.
Jesus, dude. It's just never ending, man. Never ending.
Well, it's funny because I one of the big things that came out of that original Grinch movie with Jim Carrey is that he hated doing that movie. Like he hated doing the
Yeah.
Grinch, and he hated getting
That's
all
what I
that
thought.
makeup and stuff put on him. But I guess
Right.
doing the Grinch is almost like it's like I guess for Jim Carrey doing the Grinch movie, it's like in Spider-Man when the Green Goblin mask is like calling Willem Dafoe back. It's like do it or whatever it is that they happens in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
coward! It's calling
You've
back to him.
taken your eye off the ball, son.
Yeah.
That was a bad Willem Dafoe, but
But it's calling back to him, dude. And again, like when I read that, I was just like, this is like when people decide. It's like when like people have kids and they go like never again, and then like 10 years later they go like, ah, let's have another one. It's like
oh
oh,
god, yeah.
it's like oh, okay, Jim, back to
Yeah.
the Grinch.
It's just never ending these days, man. Like anything it's like it used to be that the Democrats no it, it,
Hmm.
it used to be it used to be we used to live in a world where
We lived in a society.
yeah. That makes me think of both Joker and George Costanza after he gets the telephone the payphone stolen from him in the Chinese restaurant.
Mm.
Uh, we used to live in a society a few years back where you would think up something and it would be like, yeah, but that's not going to happen. You
Right,
know,
right,
like if you said like, oh, that'd be cool if they did a Grinch sequel with Jim Carrey. It's like, well, it's
right.
not going to
It's like
happen.
it's
You
never
know?
gonna happen. You know why Jim Carrey said he hated doing the whole thing. He
Yeah,
was never
yeah.
gonna do
Like
it again.
yeah, like I remember this article. It just goes to show how little foresight anybody has, or to not listen to people who pretend that they're fucking like clairvoyant or something. You know,
Yeah.
'cause it's like I remember this is like one example that I recall a while back when that Godzilla 2014 movie came out. There were articles afterward speculating, of course, on okay, well,
The
what are the
Gareth
monsters going to be
Edwards
in the
movie, right?
next? Yeah, yeah, the Gareth Edwards movie. It was like, okay, well, what are the monsters going to be in the next one, right? And of course, like the article goes through, 10 choices and why or why not they won't be in it, right? They hit King Ghidorah and they correctly said like, probably almost 100% like he'll be in the next one,
Hmm.
in future adaptations. And then they get into King Kong and they're like, definitely not. No way. They're not going to bring it. And, it's like, and
Right.
now the franchise is Godzilla and Kong. It's not even like it's a joint franchise
Yeah.
now. It's just like, because that franchise just went in a completely different direction
Hmm.
than what Gareth Edwards set up. Gareth Edwards set up this weird Spielbergian kind of
Yeah.
thing, like this movie we're reviewing
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah. Literally like this movie. Yeah. Similar look
And
too.
it just, yeah. And it just turned into another,
It turned
kind of
into the
Marvel
fucking
Transformers
Avengers.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
turned into the Avengers, where Godzilla is fucking Tony Stark, and the other guy is like the Hulk. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just the Avengers. It's just these two assholes.
Yeah.
And then it's so much so that then the Japanese had to be like, okay, let's actually make Godzilla movies. Like, let's actually make Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
Because these fucking Americans are not doing it. And it's interesting because I remember that was like the impetus for like the Shin Godzilla movie, right? Like Gareth Edwards made his movie, and it was like, all right, let's make one. Let's show them how we make one. Let's show them the Japanese Godzilla. And then Anno made Shin Godzilla.
Right.
It's fascinating. It's almost like, to bring back wrestling. It's almost like this thing. It's almost like like the Japanese are like New Japan, or they're like WWE or something. And the US one is like WCW, or Japan's WCW, and the fucking US one is WWE. One of them is WWE. Whichever one's WWE is either the better one or the worst one, I guess, depending on what you think about it. But yeah,
Yeah. No, it's very true. Yeah. I'm still waiting on that Godzilla -1 or
Minus
-0,
Zero. Yeah.
the full trailer. I'm ready for it,
Do you think
dude.
that movie will live up to expectations?
Who knows? I mean,
Like, what's your plus or minus? Like, I, I feel like it's not gonna live up to expectations. I feel like it's gonna be. I feel
yeah.
like because that one was like so great. That movie was so great that I feel like it joined the conversation that I understand to be like this is how I understand the Godzilla conversation to be, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I understand the Godzilla conversation in terms of like peak Godzilla to be somewhere between the original, the Anno one, and the new one. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the peak. Everything else is like
Yeah.
levels of good to schlock.
Right, right. Exactly.
So, but
That's basically it.
this movie kind of came in, and I think with as time passes, it basically has made the stake for being like, this is the best Godzilla movie, right? It was the one who won the award, and it's like people, the Anna movie has its detractors. The first movie is the first movie, So it's like you could say like, Godzilla Minus One is the best Godzilla movie, the best Godzilla movie bar none, the best movie that has the character, right? You could say that, I'm not saying that, but you
Hmm.
could say that. Um,
Could.
you could say
You
that.
could.
I feel like for me to definitively like answer that question for myself, I would need to rewatch all of those three movies again. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, but that being said, with this Godzilla Minus Zero movie coming out, I feel like it's gonna be like a fun time, but it's not gonna reach the same heights that this one did.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with you, man. It's definitely hard to argue with you. I mean, we'll see. It's tough because it's I think the commonality between think about the commonality between those three movies you mentioned,
Hmm.
the original Shin Godzilla and Godzilla -1. The common thread between those three is that they feature only Godzilla and no
Yes,
other
no
monsters.
other monsters.
There's only one other one that I can think of that does, which is Godzilla 1985. But that one generally isn't in the conversation as like one of the best. I mean, one of the best, but
Not in the
it's
peak
generally not put in that.
conversation.
Yeah, it's generally some people do put it in that same tier as -1, but I know you wouldn't. You
No,
didn't like that
I
one very
wouldn't.
much.
No, I wouldn't. I didn't like that movie that much.
It's been a while since I've seen it. But
Goofy ass fucking
yeah,
movie.
so it's like, I guess the question is, could you make a top tier one with,
A
where Godzilla
monster.
fights other monsters?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this guy probably can because, I mean, one of his biggest influences for Godzilla Minus One was GMK from 2001.
Hmm.
And that one involves, three other monsters fighting Godzilla. It's basically, that's like a fantasy reimagining of Godzilla. Godzilla is like this demonic um, entity, uh, basically possessed by the souls of the soldiers who died in World War II,
Hmm.
basically. And then he fights these three guardian monsters, Japan's three guardian monsters. And that's generally like one that's put in, either the A tier or the S tier of Godzilla films.
Yeah.
Um, so I think, could he do it? Yeah, he
He
could.
could do it. He
I
could
don't
do
know.
it.
I did get a little skeptical when I saw like that ending shot where Godzilla's stomping past the
The
Statue
Statue
of
of Liberty.
Liberty.
Yeah.
Because there's something about that. I don't know what it is about that, but there's just something about it that's like, this already feels
Maybe this will be the
a
first
little
movie to.
gimmicky.
Maybe this will be the first movie to break this curse, which I guess would be like a Godzilla movie in the U.S. actually being great. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's good Godzilla movies that take some part in the U.S., but there's no great ones.
Right. Yeah, I can't think of, yeah, I can't think of any. I don't know. Yeah, so we'll see. It just felt a little Roland Emmerich for me, where it's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
stomping, or Spielberg, like, oh, it's stomping past the fucking Statue of Liberty.
Or
Oh my
Spielberg.
god. Yeah. That shit is just so annoying,
Uh,
man. That fucking like spectacle, but it's like lame spectacle.
yeah.
It's like, whoa, the aliens blew up the Empire State Building. It's like, yeah, in the movie. Why do
Yeah.
I give a shit? They didn't really do it.
Yeah. It's something. There's something interesting about that, right? Like, I don't know. Like it does feel like so like 2000s, like so 90s 2000s, being like, oh, there's an iconography thing that we can feature in the movie and destroy it. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like somehow that was like the biggest thing. It's like, oh, this thing, that thing, the White House, that thing, the Statue of Liberty. It's like that was like such like a thing. Like doesn't that
Oh yeah.
happen also in that movie Cloverfield? Like where like
Yeah.
at some point like the Statue of Liberty's like head like comes stumbling
Yeah.
down or something like that. It's like
Hmm.
such like a monster movie like cliche. But
Yeah.
whatever.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
I just got sad thinking about Godzilla Minus One because it was like it came out during this real turning point in my life. It came out the week that I escaped sales.
Yeah.
I'd been in sales for like what 2.5 years at that point, and then
Yeah.
I had just landed this new marketing job,
Yeah.
and
That's December 2023.
yeah, dude. And then that week, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm free. I'm starting a new chapter in marketing
Mhm.
and I won't be in sales anymore. And then I saw Godzilla Minus One the same week. And I'm like, that was the
Fuck
best fucking
yeah.
Godzilla movie ever. And it
Yeah.
was the best movie of the year.
Yeah.
And it was like, life's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's Christmas time,
Yeah.
like it was like, it was just such a happy time, man.
Yeah.
And then like, full
Oh,
transparency, last week I was affected by this massive fucking layoff. I don't even give a shit. I'll say it. Like,
yeah.
no one fucking listens. Doesn't matter. We
Yeah.
can be candid on this podcast. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, you just think back, and you get sad.
Yeah.
When
Jake
No.
cries in the podcast.
Jake cries on the podcast. No, I am fine. I'm fine. But yeah, it's weird. Like I've been thinking about it lately, dude. I've been thinking about that over the past week where, dude, you think about I don't know, man. You think about good times. It's like nostalgia is this weird liar, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, in a way,
Yeah.
where you just think back on these good times and you're like, "Oh man, things were looking up." At the
Mhm.
time, you were like, "Oh, things are looking up. Things are going to be awesome. It's all smooth sailing from here on out."
Mhm.
And then like something like that happens and then you're just like, "Oh, like dude, it was all temporary."
Yeah. So
It was all kind of a
Look,
That's
man, you know, you, in our lives we've shared a lot of experiences. That being one of
yeah,
them. So it's like I completely understand exactly what you're saying. 2023
yeah,
was an interesting time, because I remember that like that was an interesting time, man. Because we also during that time, that was also a good year for movies. Because also during that time we went to the Death Grips concert, which go back to the Oppenheimer episode if you want to hear about that. We watched Oppenheimer. To this day that was like one of the best days ever for me. Like we watched Oppenheimer in the morning.
yeah,
We got to a hotel in Charlotte, saw Death Grips live,
yeah.
and then like order pizza or something. Like we stayed up like for a long while.
Yeah.
That was a great time. But then later that year, fucking Godzilla came out, and you saw it like a week before me, and you were like, you have
Mhm.
to see it. I remember you saw it like literally you saw it 1 week before I did. You urged me to go see it, and we went to see it. And my girl, she was very spooked. She was like, "Oh no," She had like nightmares about that fucking movie. But
Wait, about Godzilla minus one?
yeah, it was a scary movie, dude. It's a scary ass movie. Godzilla Minus
Oh
One.
shit,
But
dude.
my girlfriend, she's a lightweight when it comes to like anything scary. She can't take it.
Uh,
So that movie was like that movie. She was not happy. She understood the movie was good, but I mean, she knew the movie was good. But she
mhm.
was also like, this is not. I don't like this big monster, like screaming and killing people.
Thought
Um,
Godzilla was gonna come up out of the toilet.
yeah, man, that's the one place he could come out of. That's like the one
Yeah.
place. But yeah, and it's interesting because now we've turned a couple pages and we're in a whole different place in life, and a new Godzilla movie's coming. It's coming out
Right.
to bookend
Yeah.
this chapter.
That's the weird part about media and movies coming out is they serve as these landmarks. I don't know, at least that's the way I think about life. I have this weirdly, it seems like you and I think about life in similar ways.
Yeah,
And it's like, it's like they're kind of these I have this weird, I just have this weirdly good memory where I think back on different times and I can also remember like what the movies were at the time that were coming out, what movies I was watching, because that's like that's so much of what we do nowadays is consume media,
yeah,
no matter who you are.
yep,
Even people that say like, oh, I don't really watch movies. It's like, yeah, but you're fucking scrolling on your phone all day,
all day.
watching
But
videos,
you're watching videos. You're
watching
consuming,
sports.
Exactly. Yeah, you're consuming some kind of media. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's interesting. Dude, 2023 is a weird year because I always look back on that year with this weird nostalgia. But that's why I say nostalgia is this weird
Because it
fucking
wasn't
liar.
a great year. It
No.
wasn't a great year for me either. There were like
No.
there were like some great moments in that year.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a great year.
Yeah.
And it's
But
funny. Go ahead.
yeah. I was just gonna say too. Hold that thought. I was just gonna say that was season one of Film Tangents. It wasn't the beginning of us doing Film Tangents, but it was when we started taking it seriously and I posted shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like it was that. It was a time where I was really frustrated with the job I was doing because I took a new sales job, and then I was like, why I fucking like this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like it was, dude. I just hated the job I was working at the time, and like I was just frustrated. But there was this weird punk attitude that I had when then I'd come on to Film Tangents, and we were just punks, We were just like, fuck it, man.
Yeah.
It's Film Tangents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I have this weirdly like happy. I really associate positive feelings with 2023, even though objectively, when I
was
look
not a
at it,
great
I was
year.
like, I know, dude. I look back on it and I'm like, nah, dude. But maybe it's because retroactively, it's like that things were looking up.
Yeah, things were
because
looking
like
up.
I know how it ended. I
Yeah.
know it ended well.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was on to better things. But now those things are over.
Yeah, for sure.
Like 2.5 years later.
Exactly.
And
It's fascinating because
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Where it's like that was a rough year. That like during that year I had the worst job of my life. Like in terms of just how emotionally and physically tiresome and challenging that job was.
Yeah.
So it's like I know for a fact that was like a very challenging year for me. But despite that, there were a lot of highlights, and I do look at that time positively. Because even sometimes like we remember the apartment that we had at the time. Like we think about that sometimes, And we're like, oh, that was a great apartment that we had. That was a fun apartment, and we had like a lot of great memories in that apartment, and a lot of things that we did. Like there was a lot of things that were great, even though a lot of things in life at that point were not great. And like you said, things kind of went from there to look really positive, and like positive things were in the horizon. And that was an interesting thing. Even though, like you said, they didn't last. The positive things didn't last.
Dude, it never lasts.
But we're still going.
It never lasts. Dude, there were people at my last job that I talked to where they were like, because it was a great job.
Mm-hmm.
We were all like, there were people there. I never went this far with my thinking, because my thing is like, you can't get it too attached to anything.
Right.
It can just end. You're
thinking you have the philosophy of De Niro in
Heat.
It's like, don't get attached to anything that you won't be able to walk away in 32 seconds flat, or 60 seconds, whatever it is.
Exactly. Dude, if you feel the heat coming around the corner.
I bet you've been fucking watching Heat, bro.
Dude, I watched it this past weekend. How did you fucking know, dude? That's weird that you brought that up, man.
It's like you said this Heat shit, and I was like, dude, this guy's been watching Heat. I know he's been watching Heat.
That's so funny.
It's like a mind inception, dude. Because I know how I get when I watch that movie.
Yeah, dude, it's like it's a fucking alpha movie,
it is
man.
An alpha movie. It's a great.
It's a great It's a good mindset movie.
It's a great movie.
I was like,
it's Michael Mann doing the Heat too. Is he doing Heat too?
Yeah.
It kind of feels like it should be something that fucking James Mangold does. But whatever, go ahead.
Could see that. Yeah, but. Yeah, no, dude, there were people there that were like, "Oh, I'm gonna retire here," and I was like, "Well, I mean, I don't know if you will. Like, I think the owners might sell the company before it happens,
any of that happens." Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know about that.
And then we'll be working for Slim Jims instead of for who we work now.
Yeah. But yeah, we just got slaughtered, man. We got slaughtered. Like I've been talking to people this week, and we're like, dude, I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's weird. Like, it's a weird thing because then you look back on like, after it happened, I looked back on like this past December, right? You have your end of year reviews, right? And you get your raise, you get your bonus, you get your promotion. It's Christmas time. It's all happy. You're like, all right, here's your raise. Happy holidays, blah, blah. And you're just like, oh, nice. Like, life's looking up, And then when this happens, it's like you look back on it and you're like, dude, that was all a lie.
Yes.
You're like, I was like, I was celebrating while heat-seeking missile was locking on to me.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Like,
I don't know if I've said this.
I just didn't know it.
I don't know if I've told you this, because again, in our existence, our lives have had a lot of symmetry, and I guess this thing with you being one of them, because it's something that happened to both of us. But it's interesting because recently I was thinking exactly about that. I was like thinking about something that I had thought about before. It was like, it came back to my mind, which was that before I had the job where I also got laid off from, like before I had that job, I had another job, I was doing like a job in between. And I remember that I was doing the job that I was doing in between. I was literally just doing it because I just wanted to be working while my other job came around, because we were doing like background checks and all this stuff. And by the time when it came time for me to start my actual job that I had been waiting for, I said to the guys where I worked, I was like, hey, I'm done. It's like, it's over.
Yeah.
I was like, it's done.
Ogre.
It's ogre. I gave them like a 2 weeks notice or something like that. And and they were like, no, don't go. And they like made me an offer. They were like, we're gonna make you this offer. They made me like a financial offer, and I was like, no thanks. I was like, I'm leaving.
We'll give you a 50-cent raise.
Yeah, they're like, we'll give you this. I was like, no, I'm leaving. Because I was like dead set on leaving anyway. I was like, it doesn't matter what you guys offer me, I'm leaving. And I left that job, right? And so, like 5 months later, I talked to like some old coworkers. Like they kind of start chatting with me. We had a group chat at that job, and they start kind of posting in the group chat again and being like, "Hey, how's it going?" And so I have an exchange with them where they basically say like, "Hey, the company went under."
Oh, shit,
and we all got laid off. So like that job, they all got laid off. Like all of them went down. you know.
You're talking about the job that you had while you were waiting for your background check to
Yes.
clear.
Yes.
It was like just gainful employment.
Yeah, exactly. And
Weren't
that's
you working with like kitchens or
yeah,
something?
exactly.
Like it was just like it was labor, right?
Exactly, which is a manual labor like warehouse job, you know.
And they all got laid off from that.
They all got laid off with that, you know. And they
Right.
offered, and they, you know, they offered me like a raise, and they offered me like they offered me like a whole different position. They're like, hey, if you
Yeah.
stay, we're gonna actually make you this, and we'll pay
Yeah.
you this. And I was like, no, I'm not saying.
Don't go, Edward. We were gonna go belly up in like a month,
Yeah,
man,
right.
and then it'll all be yeah.
But then 2 months later, they fucking shut down, dude.
Yeah.
And I think to myself at the time, I thought to myself like, oh, I dodged that missile. You know, I made the right decision. You know,
Right.
But then like 6 months later, I get laid off. And so the thought that I had eventually was like, it was just happening. It was just gonna happen to me.
I know.
It was just coming. It was like fucking Final Destination, you know?
Right.
Where it's like, oh, I didn't die, and I was supposed to.
You fucking cheated death.
Yeah.
You thought you cheated death, and it
Exactly.
was like no.
It was like, no, you're getting laid off, bro. It's like it's happening. Like you just made it so it's not gonna happen right away. But
Right.
It's gonna happen.
You sped away from the flaming oil spill
Yeah.
only to get hit by the lumber truck.
Yeah.
Basically.
So
That's
life's
what
funny.
happened.
I just wanted to add that to what you said because life's funny that way. Where like sometimes you think back and it's like, oh, this shit was like coming for me.
Right. I know, dude. That's the weird thing about life, man. It's just like this weird fucking. It's this weird. I don't know, man. There's like this weird fatalistic aspect to it where you're just like, fuck, man. You know, it was always happening. You know?
Yeah.
I was celebrating something that was not to be, that ended up not to be.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You gotta be. That's why you gotta be prepared. If I can kind of I'll take off my bitchin' hat right now and put on my grind hat or my bossed up hat.
Yeah.
My girl always cringes whenever I say that.
Bossed
I'm like, bossed up, man.
It
Gotta
is
boss up.
It is kind of a cringe thing to say.
Juicy J, man.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It's juicy.
you gotta be prepared, man, because like winter's coming.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
like Game of Thrones was right. Winter's coming. Winter's always coming. And now I will say it's like I'm glad that I suffered in sales for almost 3 years because now I have this like great financial runway where I'm really not worried.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly I'm kind of more down about it than I have any right to be because I'm fine, you know? Yeah, you got to have that Heat, that Robert De Niro from Heat mindset for sure.
Yeah.
And like be prepared, you know?
Yeah.
Like have a nest egg,
Yeah.
you know, have a savings.
Yeah.
Like have it so when that happens, you can take a week, 2 weeks. You know,
You don't have to
I've
panic.
heard some
You don't
people
have-
take
you
a
don't have
month.
to hit the panic button and be like, oh my god, you know.
Right. I can't even imagine that, dude.
Yeah.
Like not to, you know, I'm not trying to be an asshole or flex or anything, but I really can't even imagine living like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh my god, I need something. Like I just got laid off. I need something in 2 days. You know,
Yeah.
it's like fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Then you just give up all your leverage.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
But
It's quite something. But it's interesting. I think this is like a very fascinating like topic and a very good segue into the movie of the week. Because it's kind of like
Right.
that, right? It's this movie where like life just flips very quickly.
yeah, and you get incinerated.
Say what?
And you get incinerated by
Exactly.
iPod
Exactly.
machines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, the movie of the week for this week of Film Tangents is the sci-fi, at this point I dare say classic, because it came out 21 years ago, War of the Worlds by one Steven Spielberg, 2005, starring Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. What did you make of this movie, man? I'm actually very excited to hear what you have to say, because obviously we've seen World of the Worlds 2025 with Ice Cube, and this is a much dare I say this is a much different movie.
Yeah. It's better. It's not saying much, but it is better. Well, yeah, the Ice Cube one is just flaming fucking trash. But
Yeah.
you know, Spielberg War of the Worlds. This movie kind of sucks,
Yeah.
honestly. Um, yeah.
Yeah, dude, give it. Just throw it out.
I'll give it its flowers first. I
Okay.
mean, one, I think the original story kind of stinks. I've never read the. I mean, who has read the original War of the Worlds by
Yeah.
H.G.
By
Wells?
H.G. Wells.
You know, it's a prototypic. It's a prototype for alien invasion stories. It's probably the first alien invasion story, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know. Seems like it
1890,
would be.
1898. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like the first probably alien invasion story in its current form,
Yeah.
right? But you know, so it's so dated. It's just kind of a boring
It
concept at this
is.
point, I
It
think,
literally
where it's
is.
just like,
Dude, it like is. It is the
yeah,
seminal alien invasion.
yeah, that's all it is. It's just, you know, these aliens come down, they have these robots, and they start. It's War of the Worlds, you
Mhm.
know, and it's just like, okay, you know. So what I will say though, positively, is this is about as exciting as you could really make this idea while sticking to the source material decently close. You know, so Spielberg, like he made it surprisingly exciting at a lot of points in the movie.
Mhm.
There were a lot of sequences where I was like, "Oh, this is surprisingly intense
Mhm.
and nail biting and well done."
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
um, I thought at least in the beginning, Tom Cruise's character was compelling.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I was immediately decently invested in this character. Found him really interesting. You know, you're like, okay, this is a guy who doesn't like commitment. He doesn't like his kids are just kind of a burden, and they really went for it. You know, like most movies and stories don't have the balls to really have a guy character who just doesn't give a shit about his kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
most movies are like, well, this guy's an asshole, but he loves his kids. That's like his soft spot, you
Yeah.
know? But this movie had the balls to be like, this guy does not give a shit about his kids.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't give a fuck, dude. And you know, I found that fairly compelling. Um I thought, like I said, a lot of the sequences were pretty exciting. You know, the whole incineration sequence where people start going up in ashes. At
Mhm.
first, during the beginning of that sequence, I was kind of rolling my eyes, like, "Oh boy, War of the Worlds," and Spielberg's doing his Spielberg thing with this, you know, this weird, boring kind of spectacle
Yeah.
that he's doing with these tripod robots coming out of. Um, but as things start ramping up and it gets you really invested in the point of view of the characters, and you know it gets exciting, and even
Yes.
like you know the scene where they're climbing onto the boat, right? There's parts of the movie that make you go, ooh, oh shit, oh god, you know, like even just those little shots, like when the boat pulls away from the dock and the rope yanks the you know stone buffer or whatever and it knocks some people over, you're like,
Mhm.
ooh shit, you know, or when people fall in the water, you're like, god, you know, like he really makes
Yeah.
those moments count where it feels very um immersive,
Right.
right? um and then I'm trying to think of other positives. I thought the some of the design elements were cool. I really liked the tentacle thing that
Mhm.
comes into the basement and searches around. That was a really cool design element.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, it's like the body of it looked like a python.
Mhm.
The front of it has this weird sort of, I don't know, it's like almost like a cross between a vacuum cleaner and a pool cleaner
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then like a camera on the front. It was a very compelling sort of design. It felt unique and fresh.
Mhm.
Um, and I kind of liked that scene. It did remind me of Minority Report,
Yeah.
that scene with the spider drones. And I do remember sitting there thinking, oh, my girlfriend hasn't seen that movie, but I do want to show her that movie. And I was like, oh, there's a scene like this in Minority Report, but it's better,
Mhm.
you know? Um, and that's about all I got for positives. And I have a lot of negatives, but I'll give the
Okay.
mic to you for your take.
Well, this is a bit of a nostalgia movie for me. because I I saw this movie around the time that it came out. Like maybe 2007. I saw this movie, like maybe like a year or two after it came out. It's probably like like nine. Um, so there's a little bit of nostalgia in this movie for me. Like I remember, I before I watched the movie, I remembered very key moments in the movie. Like I remembered them. I remember like when they're in the car going through this like sea of people, and Tom Cruise is just trying to get him, like just trying to get through all these people. And his kids are kind of like freaking out because they're just like, "Hey man, you're like we're driving through a sea of people," and then the people start trying to get in the car. I remember that sequence very well, and I have to say that I still think that sequence is great. Like I still think
Yeah.
like the emotional and frantic like payoffs of that scene I thought worked really great even to this day. Like the visual, and that it's like not like some VFX, like this like very practical, like him driving through this sea of people. The acting performances from his two kids, Robbie and Rachel, I thought were great.
Yeah.
And then how it ends, where he like crashes into like a what do you call that? Like a light pole, and then he has to. Then they kind of drag him out, him and his son, and then they end up getting into like this kind of fist fight with these guys, and his daughter's stuck in the car, and people keep getting in the car and trying to kind of drive away with it. Like I really liked that entire sequence. I really liked it, and it's the moment that finally kind of pays off him having a gun. He pulls it out and he shoots it up, and he's like, everybody, give me back my son. His son was like, they had him somewhere in the crowd. And he's like, I'm leaving. And then in very Spielberg fashion, and I have to give Spielberg credit because Spielberg is like the king of blocking in filmmaking, right? In very Spielberg fashion, it goes from his daughter in the car to a shot of him with the gun to this like reveal, like steady cam reveal that there's a guy pointing a gun at him. I
Right.
love that sequence. That's such like an immaculate sequence. And I just have to give Spielberg credit. Like it's like so like well executed. Because they just flips it. It's just like, oh, you think that you think he's won this scene, but actually no, he didn't win the scene. Another guy has him. In this kind of standoff. And despite the fact that he doesn't really get away with leaving with his kids and the car, he still gets to get his daughter out of the car. So
Yeah.
there's like a little bit of like, it's like I remember first year when we had to write like a boxing match. We had to write this boxing match sequence where the main character like wants something and the other person wants something and somebody has to lose or whatever. But I thought this was a very smart sequence because he loses the car, right? But he still wins because he gets his daughter out of it. So I found it to be a very kind of compelling sequence. And then we see that somebody else takes his gun, and then they're in a diner, and then you hear this kind of scuffle keep going on outside over the car. Like seemingly the guy who took the car gets shot, and somebody else takes the car. Um, so I really appreciated that. And that was like I remember that scene from that movie.
Right.
And that kind of leads me into another thing that I want to praise Spielberg, because obviously we can think about Steven Spielberg's peak years as the 90s, right? Because in the 90s he made Jurassic Park and Schindler's List and the other Jurassic Park movie and Saving Private Ryan. And I think we can think about like the early 2000s as like a post prime peak, right? Or like a post peak, like still not as good as not as good as he was, but still good.
Yeah.
Because that's when he made AI, which I don't like AI, but Minority Report, Catch Me If You Can, War of the Worlds, and then I feel like that kind of trickles down, and then Lincoln, and then after Lincoln, like he was never the same filmmaker again. Like
Right.
Lincoln felt like it was like the last hurrah, and everything he's made after that is, from what I understand critically and commercially, it's not been the same. But this is post peak Spielberg, right? But he still has a lot. He still has a lot to offer, because even though he kind of recycles things from Minority Report and from the Jurassic Park movie, I think, which one is it that he has that sequence with the kids hiding from the dinosaurs? Is that like the Lost World? Is that the one that happens in?
I think that's the first
That's
Jurassic
the
Park
first
where
one.
they're in the car, the flipped car, and the T-Rex is trying to get at him.
Well, but I mean, there's like a Jurassic Park movie where they're like in some kind of like lab room, and those like
Oh, that
smaller guys come in.
yeah, that's I think that's two.
Yeah, yeah, because that this somehow the that sequence where in the basement also kind of felt like that. Like it was like him
Oh
recycling
no,
that.
you're thinking of the kitchen scene in the first one
Is it
where
that
the
one?
kids are hiding from the raptors. Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah.
There's a little bit of
It is
recycling.
very similar.
Yeah, there's a little bit of recycling, and like you said, it's also very similar to the Minority Report movie, the first movie that he made with Tom Cruise. Um, but despite that, again, I want to kind of emphasize him with his usual tricks, like his usual like one takes that go on for like a minute and a half of a lot of like excellent blockings there. I really have to give shouts to this constant like storytelling in the background stuff that he's doing, right? Because there's like a lot of focus in this movie in silhouetting the characters and having like things happening in the background. Like the big like octopus like robots in the background or big crowds of people or them in the water. It's like there's this constant thing going on in this movie where like if you look where like the characters are kind of running or walking, laterally in a direction and then behind them there's like stuff going on, and I thought that was like a really great like well executed element of this movie.
Yeah.
And then another thing I want to say is that at least in the nighttime sequences the VFX still hold up like pretty decently, I thought. Like it's 2005, so but even then like the way like from my perspective like a lot of the daytime stuff with the robots kind of was like kind of wonky, right? Kind of like PS2y, but funnily enough still better than the Ice Cube War of the Worlds, I thought. But then
Yeah.
like the
Weirdly
nighttime,
enough.
yeah, weirdly enough it's still better than like a movie that came out last year. But the nighttime sequences I still thought were like really great. In that sequence where the pod or whatever was like in the basement, I thought that sequence still holds up to this day. Like just as a great sequence.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah, the nighttime stuff could have been made
yeah,
this year.
yes, yeah, which goes to show of like the benefit that these kind of like now aged movies have of having done a lot of VFX in dark in dark sequences, where like a lot of this stuff kind of like it gets absorbed into the shadows.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess that said in terms of positives, I thought Tom Cruise actually gave like a really great performance, like with the material that he had. And
Hmm.
I thought that kind of finding was actually really good. In like a child performance, she had a really good performance. Um, I liked the boat sequence, like when they're first trying to get into that ferry. I really liked all of that, like them trying to find a way into it, and then them kind of then getting thrown into the water. I really liked that sequence. I liked the basement sequence, and I like a lot of the production design. Like I thought that they did great with the production design. Like when he comes out and they've been like terraforming the that part where they're at. Like when he comes out of the basement and it's all like red, because they've been like spraying like all this blood or whatever everywhere. I thought that was great. Um,
Oh,
that
for sure.
that's it.
Yeah, I think the directing, yeah, I mean the directing's great. I think the most useful way to think about Spielberg, in my opinion, is it's like he took sort of a I don't know, like a Ray Harryhausen sensibility, Ray Harryhausen concepts, right?
Hmm.
These large set pieces, big
Hmm.
creatures, things like that, and then he directs them like Alfred Hitchcock would,
Yes. Yeah. A hundred
essentially.
percent. 100%.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like instead of going for these wide, un sort of like unfocused, these sort of wide, just omniscient shots of these creatures, it's always like using the character's perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's how I think about him.
Yeah, yeah, and I have to say that when I watch these kind of movies, like, I mean, the guy is to this day probably the gold standard when it comes to a filmmaker having range, right? It's like the amount and different kinds of movie the guy has made is pretty outstanding. Like, it's just remarkable. But getting past the positives, what are your negatives for this movie? Because I know there's a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Like I said, I mean, I think the idea itself is already limited. You
Yeah.
you already start behind the eight ball by adapting H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Um, I know that, you know, I think from an artistic perspective, people like to think that, oh, there's no such thing as a bad idea, or
Hmm.
I don't really believe that. I do think that there's just some stuff that's just kind of you know,
Hmm.
like to me, right? Like I feel that way about a lot of M. Night Shyamalan idea like pitches that I hear
Oh, dude,
where,
I have to, because you mentioned M Night.
yeah.
Because you mentioned M Night,
Yeah.
I have to bring this up.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because I saw a post that said, "Found the first conspiracy theory that I believe," and the conspiracy theory was, take Steven Spielberg's name off of Disclosure Day and slap M Night Shyamalan's name on it. And it
Wow.
says, and the movie becomes like 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's like a lot of the discourse. Let me see,
Mm,
because what's the movie holding on right now? Disclosure Day is holding on
interesting.
to. It actually has an 80% Rotten Tomatoes, 6.8 IMDb, 3.2 Letterbox. But yeah, according to this theory, if you just make it so that it says M Night and not Steven Spielberg, the rating just plummets. According to that,
I totally believe that. I
yeah,
believe that with a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that I think people pretend to like because
because of
of
the
the name
name
that's on there. Yeah.
attached to it, yeah,
The,
for
they're
sure.
like, "Oh, well it must be good because it's got this name on it." And
Hmm.
they don't want to seem contrarian or worse, dumb or
Right,
have bad taste.
right.
They're just like, "Oh, I have to like this." You know, where I kind of stopped that practice fairly, fairly early, I guess.
Hmm.
Like I just with like Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. You're
I don't
not.
give a
Yeah,
fuck.
you don't vibe with poor Wes.
No, I'm just like, dude, I don't. Some, I mean, I love Fantastic Mr. Fox, but I won't watch a movie. I won't even give him like an inch because of his name. It's
Yeah,
like, no, dude, if this sucks, it
it
sucks. I
sucks.
don't even give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that's how I operate. That's how I try to operate as best I can.
Yeah.
If this sucks,
Yeah.
if I really think this sucks, I'm going to be honest with myself about it,
Hmm.
But I do think a lot of people operate that way. I
For
totally agree
sure.
with that guy.
For
I
sure.
haven't se- I can't speak to it in this case,
Yeah, because you haven't
Disclosure
seen the
Day, but
movie. Yeah.
I can totally understand what he's saying.
Hmm.
And I will totally agree if I see that movie and it sucks.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Which honestly, like,
Um,
because I remember we saw the trailer, and I am somebody. I will give Steven Spielberg the benefit of the doubt. But we saw the trailer for it, and in the movie theater, as the trailer was playing, we were both just laughing. And I remember just
yeah.
saying to you something along the lines of like, "This just looks terrible. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looks like it's gonna suck."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks bland as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said like it's like a rival but shittier.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that's kind of that's number one with War of the Worlds. It's like conceptually some things just are bad at concept. I think,
Hmm.
and like that's how I feel when I hear a lot of M. Night Shyamalan ideas, where it's like, oh, what is it? The Happening. I've never seen the movie, but it's like, oh, a bunch of people just start offing themselves, and it
Yeah.
was the tree, and it's
It was
just
the
like,
trees. Yeah.
okay, I mean. Or even I heard the concept for old. There's a beach that you go to and you rapidly age,
Hmm.
and it's
It's like,
like,
okay. Okay.
yeah, it's not compelling, man. Like you just it turns out that you can't just throw out any idea and force it, try to force mold it into something into a good execution.
Right.
Sometimes it's dead on idea,
Yeah.
and I sort of feel that way with War of the Worlds, where it's like maybe in 1890 this was a cool concept. They're like, oh yeah, what if things from another world came here and invaded us? But now it's
Mhm.
like, well, that's just you need more than that. There's got to be like a spin on it, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Um. So, but getting into the specifics of the
Yeah,
movie,
bold choice, Stevie. Adapting adapting
yeah,
a sci-fi book 100 years later. Very bold choice. And
yeah,
adapting it very like one to one.
Oh, I know. He just goes with the original ending too, which
Hmm.
like the ending sucks because it's like,
The
well,
ending
the
sucks.
characters didn't do
They didn't do
anything. You know,
anything. Yeah.
he sort of makes it work in this where it's like they still have a climax where they defeat the aliens in a micro way.
Yeah,
So
Tom defeats him.
yeah. So on that level, I actually don't have too much of a problem with the ending, other than the fact that it's just a little lame
Hmm.
in concept. Again,
Yes.
like in concept,
And then
it
Morgan
makes
Freeman comes in and he
sense.
goes like, "And the humans they'll fade down because we have water." So okay.
Yeah, what is up with the
Thanks,
two
Morgan.
Morgan Freeman like
Yeah,
monologues?
like the introduction one and the ending one is like, oh, like when he came back in at the end, I was like, I had forgotten that Morgan Freeman was narrating this to me.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't come in when Andy Dufresne came into the basement and was like, he's like, and then Andy, who had gotten out of Shawshank, realized that his battle had just begun. This time he was fighting aliens.
uh,
I
the,
wish I could say that Andy fought off the giant octopus tentacle,
but he did.
but life ain't a story. Life ain't a fairy tale.
You know, this is like one of those things that if anybody is able to animate, they should animate that. Like one of those like one of those, like name podcast animated,
Right.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, so yeah, and just I think the writing really sucked, honestly.
Hmm.
So like you have this character who doesn't give a shit about his kids, which I actually thought was a bold choice, right? And of course, you're like, all right, so the arc is going to be that he starts giving shit about his kids as this
Right.
goes on.
Yeah.
But the character decisions make no sense. Like the whole movie really makes no sense. Like they go and hide in this basement, and like I get it, a plane turbine takes out the house, but it doesn't take out the basement.
No, why do they
There's
leave?
really right. There's no reason for you to leave.
No.
And I get the answer. It's like, well, that wouldn't make an interesting movie, and it's like,
Right.
well, I understand that, but you need to, as a writer, figure out how to get them
From point
uh,
A to point B.
out of the yeah. You have
Right.
that's something you have to figure out,
Right.
right? Otherwise, it sucks. Then the entire thing with his son really stinks.
That's
I
like
did not
that
that
is
makes no sense.
that is the number one thing. Like I even remember, like again, like if there,
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you the key things I remember. I remember the driving through the sea of people. I remember them getting on the boat. I remember the basement stuff, and I remember the ending, and I remember his son. And like his son, I always remembered him in a very negative way. I always remember like his son's character as being like, "What was wrong with that character? Like, what was wrong? What was wrong with that guy?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not a real person. He's a
No.
freaking non he's not a caricature. He's nothing. He's a nonsensical. I don't know if I've ever seen a more nonsensical character in a movie, to be honest. Like this
Yeah.
is one of the worst examples
Yeah.
of character actions that go
It
completely
it
against
should have just been a
any sort of understandable human
it
behavior.
should have just been a father daughter movie. That's kind of what it like. It's funny because after his son,
Yeah, he
like
was a third wheel,
he
wasn't he?
was, and after he let me not say anything silly. Like after he leaves the movie, that's what it becomes. It just becomes like it's Tom Cruise. The movie leaves you with the two strongest actors, which are just Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. And it's like that,
Right.
and it's like, well, that's kind of what it should have been from the beginning. Like I feel like you could literally delete his character, and that's what
Yes.
because at every moment the movie just gets rid of him. Like at the beginning of the movie, when things start going south, his son like took his car,
Hmm.
and so it was just Tom Cruise and his daughter, and it's like, and it made sense. And then his son came back, and it's like, oh, he's back. But every decision and everything his son's character does, it's like the most nonsensical, stupid, like weird thing.
Right.
To the point that and by the end of this movie, it leaves me with the thought of like, is this just like weird army propaganda? Like, that's the like military propaganda. Like that's the thought that I had. I was like, is it just like propaganda? Because his character, like for no reason, like wants to join them. You know, like for no perceivable reason. It's like he just wants to do this. I guess. You know, and the whole movie. Because again, this is like my second or third time watching this movie. I was like, but my first time watching this movie in probably like 15 years. So I was like, let me actually pay attention to this guy
Hmm.
and see at what point it becomes evident that he just either has like a death wish or is this just military propaganda. And the only thing that I could take from this is that this is just like a weird like join the army thing in this movie, you know.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating because Spielberg has been accused of this in an eloquent way before because Robert Eggers, one of our famous shoutouts of the show, he has a breakdown of Saving Private Ryan where he argues, and I would say he argues like convincingly that the movie is like a pro-military like movie. You know, like it's like a
Mhm.
pro-U.S. action military, like join the military movie. You know, and this is not only a movie that he made after Saving Private Ryan, but a movie that obviously has a it's heavily there's a heavy military message in this movie, and I felt like that Son's character's whole thing was that you should join the military, that you should go out there and somehow fight whatever the fight is. You know, at this point in time, it was like a war against terror. You know, it's 2005. Very weird movie with a weird message. Yeah,
It's interesting how, happened at the time. I mean, it's kind of a shallow, observation, but whatever's happening at the time informs, what movies are trying to say.
yeah,
Because, like back in the early 2000s, after the World Trade Center, after 9/11, it's like, oh, it's cool. Everybody's on the same page. It's like, oh, it's cool to be all
yes,
pro-military.
yeah,
But now it's like, well, oil wars in the U.S. is kind of bad actually, but
yeah.
we're one bad day away from being like, oh, we're so
Well,
mad and we're
yeah,
together
yeah,
again.
yeah,
It's like, man, what, I don't know.
yeah,
Can we, can we get some consistency here?
yeah.
Some congruency?
This was a very pro that movie, right? It had a very, in my opinion, it had a very pro message for it. You
Yeah,
know?
which I'm all right with. I'm
Yeah,
fine with it. Um, yeah, just with the son's character just stinks. I mean, okay, so that first scene where his son's like shouting at the military guys, like, "Take me with you." That scene, the way I read it was, oh, he feels unsafe and frustrated with his father, so he's like, I just need to get out of here.
right.
A little weird, but I was like, okay, I guess I get what this dumb teenager's doing. But then that other scene where he just keeps running toward the military and he's like, I have to see this. I have to see
Yeah,
this.
it makes no
It's like, what?
sense. But then it
Yeah.
also makes like it makes for like a very weirdly contrived like Sophie's Choice scenario for Tom Cruise, where he's like, these other people are trying to like kidnap my daughter. You know, it's like, also I have to let my son go. And his son is like, let me go. You have to let me go. And it's like, okay, okay, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
And then he dies. His son?
Supposedly.
No, he
No,
dies.
no, his son's alive at the end.
No, his son's not alive at the end. His son dies. He
What are you talking
dies.
about?
Jake,
Did we see two different cuts of this movie?
in what world did that guy live? How is it possible that he lived?
I see what you're
he
saying.
died. And then
Right,
in the movie
right.
at
I
the end,
see
they
what
were
you're
like,
saying.
actually, no, he's alive. Even though he's dead. Because there's no way that he survived. Whatever that whole explosion was, you know? So,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, I know. That it doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
Um, Honestly, a better version of this movie too. I'll do you one better than getting rid of the son. Have one of those octopus robots take his daughter up into one of those nets, and that's the plot goal of the movie. He's got to go. He's tracking one of these octopus robots, trying to figure out how to get her out of there. Huh? I think I just made War of the Worlds a lot better,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, it's funny because they thought about it and then they did that, but they did that in the span of like
Mhm.
5 minutes. You know?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, that does work as a climax because it's like even though the germs save the day in a Deus Ex Machina, it's like, well, at least the characters
Gotta
earned their
win.
own victory
Yeah,
against
they.
one
Yeah, for
robot.
sure, for
You know,
sure. Yeah, for sure,
it's like,
100%.
well, we might have gotten our asses saved by these germs, but we at least showed you what humans are all about before,
Yeah,
you know,
which is interesting because it's like they show that they show the robots had this kind of like
assholes.
not just that, but they had like because Tom Cruise before they took him, he like threw a grenade at them, and the grenade
Right.
exploded, and that was the first time they showed us that they had like a shield, like a force
Mm.
shield, and then he was able to destroy them from the inside when he like shoved the grenades inside of them,
Inside its ass.
side to ass.
He got it to reverse shit the grenade.
Yeah,
The way it was reverse shitting everybody.
yeah. But yeah, I guess so. And it's funny with this movie because there's also an element to this movie that feels like Spielberg also kind of played it too close to like things that were happening that were bad for people were happening always too close to the characters for comfort. Where it always
Hmm.
felt like they just they were just constantly not like Tom Cruise in that like sequence in which he is like running away from the robot when it first comes out of the ground and it's just like vaporizing everybody. He like barely like gets away. There's
Hmm.
constant instances where it's like it's just barely doesn't get him. And then every single action scene subsequently is like that, where like it barely
The,
doesn't get
the
him.
plot armor is
Yeah,
unreal. That was another thing.
yeah, where
Yeah.
it's like it gets a little bit tedious, and it's like just don't put them like if you're gonna have all this stuff happening and all these people getting vaporized and all these explosions, it's like don't have them happening every single time right next to the characters, where they're
Hmm.
always barely like not getting got, and it's like because at that point it gets a little tiresome, and it just feels like they're obviously the main characters and nothing's gonna happen to them, to the point that
Hmm.
his son escapes what was literally like death, like literally, and at the end of the movie it's like oh he's alive. Just so that we can have the little arc where his son calls him dad instead of Ray. It's like all right, called him dad
Yeah.
at the end. He said dad. All right, we got it.
Well, I felt like I was watching The Boys again, where it's like, Homelander in one scene, when it's some character we don't care about, when it's some like red shirt character, he's able to fly the guy to space in 5 seconds.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, when he's fighting our main characters, he can't even escape from a room,
Yeah.
you know? And you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this movie, yeah, the plot armor was crazy, man. I totally that I'm glad you brought that up. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like the machines just suddenly became slow and stupid and apathetic whenever they were around our main characters.
What's
Um,
the name of the character? And Andy, right? From what's the
Dufresne.
frame? Yeah. What did you make of Tom Cruise offing him? What did you make of that?
Oh, I thought that was great. I
Yeah.
thought he should have done it earlier. Like there was a point where I was like, "Oh, I would just kill him at this point."
Yeah.
Like if I'm in there with my daughter,
Yeah, and
it's
this
an
crazy
apocalyptic
guy.
situation,
Yeah.
and this crazy guy is gonna get us killed. I would kill him.
Yeah.
Like I would just kill him at
Yeah.
this
He
point.
ended up he
And
ended
so
up killing his ass.
yeah, yeah. So right. So when he did it, I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
Yeah, like finally. Um. So yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Um.
Great
But yeah,
sequences in this movie
that's.
again, but what would you rate this thing? Where do you land?
I give it a 4 out of 10. I just don't like it.
Yeah, not for
I
you.
wouldn't even say it's average. There's enough in it that brings it below
Yeah,
average.
yeah,
I just want to watch Minority Report now. Minority Report's fucking
it
awesome.
is awesome. Yeah, this movie, like you said, it's just the writing. The writing is just very, very questionable. Let's say
Hmm.
the writing is just the worst part of this movie. Like, it's just interesting because Spielberg, like, still like in a cinematic level, he's still doing great work. You know, and I thought Tom Cruise actually together like a really compelling performance. It's just that the writing in this movie just kind of brings everything down. I'm gonna keep my rating for this movie where it is. Like I had it at a 5, and I'm just gonna keep it at a 5. I think it's just
Fair enough.
is what it is. Like for me, there's still nostalgia for it. There's still great sequences, but you know, I have to look at the movie for what it is, which is it's not a good movie. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
And
guess
no shade to H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells is a legend.
he was doing his thing, man.
great.
It was the 1800s.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at the time, yeah, it was like it was awesome. I'm sure it was awesome at the time. And I'm not saying there's probably a ton of his stories that have validity, but there's just
Yeah.
prototypes. I mean, I read The Time Machine when I was a kid. That was a great book.
Yeah. And he also had the Island of Dr. Moreau. It was an H.G. Wells thing. And
Yeah. Visible Man.
yeah, the Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm.
The Invisible Man. It's funny because Spielberg adapted the War of the Worlds, and then nobody adapted an H.G. Wells story again until they adapted the World of the Worlds.
Yeah.
So the last two H.G. Wells film adaptations were the exact same story, twice. Yeah. Let's get into our recaps, Jake.
Let's do it, dude.
You wanna go ahead?
You want to go first?
I'll go first. For my recap this week, something that I touched on last week was the Rafa documentary on Netflix. I finished it, and it was exactly what I spoke about last week. I hope Jack has seen it because I know Jack is also a Rafa fan like I am. Who is missing the podcast this episode?
No, he's here, dude. Yeah.
He's just been quiet the whole time. He's Jack's here. He's just not saying anything. But yeah, the Rafa documentary was great. Again, 4 episodes. It's a mini series on Netflix. Every episode's an hour. And I thought the ending of it was just as good as it could have possibly been. As good as it could have possibly been. I ended up rating it a 9 out of 10 on Letterboxd, and I feel like if you're not like a Rafa fan, it's probably like an 8 out of 10. I still think it's like, genuinely, I think it's a great documentary. Like, that my rating for anything that I think is like great is always an 8, and I gave it a 9 just because of the personal attachment that I have to the player and like the how it contextualized like experiences that I had watching him, over the last 6 years of his career. So it was really interesting to watch it. And that's the one thing that I've watched. And then on the side of music, I listened to American Water by the Silver Jews. And this is kind of like an alternative rock, folk, like country rock album. And I actually ended up learning something kind of sad about the Silver Jews. Because the Silver Jews was formed by a guy named David Berman. And David Berman is somebody that I talked about recently because I listened to an album that he made under the name Purple Mountains. The Purple Mountains album is, again, it's like an indie rock, like country album. And I think that album is just so great. Like, it's a really great album. And I had been listening to a lot of those songs from that album recently. And I landed on this Silver Juice album, and I thought to myself, I just kept thinking, like, where did I find this? Like, I didn't know, like, where I got this album, like, randomly. It was just there in the S's. And I started listening to it. I was like, oh, it's this guy. I recognized his voice immediately. I was like, it's this guy. It's this David Berman guy, who is just a great songwriter, And I was like, he's the Purple Mountains guy. So I looked him up, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's the Purple Mountains guy. And I guess he started off with his Silver Jews band. And the sad part about it is that after he released the Purple Mountains album, which is such a great album, he, self-deleted like a month later after he released the Purple Mountains album. So finding that out like really bummed me out,
Damn,
but
dude.
the Purple Mountains album is really great if you're into like, Southern rock or country music. And then the American Water album by the Silver Jews is also really great. Listen to the song Random Rules or the song Federal Dust from it if you're interested in just kind of seeing what it's all about. The little Apple Music thing for it just says, in 1984, I was hospitalized for approaching perfection. goes the opening line of Silver Juice's third album, American Water. You know, that's the first thing he says. In 1984,
Nice.
was hospitalized for approaching perfection. You know, and that again, that should tell you something about the songwriting of the album, which great stuff. You know, following that, I listened or started listening to Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon and Mr. Art Garfunkel. I listened to Bookends, which is the album that has a lot of the songs from the movie The Graduate, the Mike Nichols movie with Dustin Hoffman. Not Dustin Hoffman. What's the name of that guy?
Uh,
The Graduate. It is Dustin Hoffman.
yeah, it's Dustin Hoffman.
It's Dustin
Yeah, I
Hoffman.
was like, wait, what? Am I tripping?
Somehow I thought I just said the name of the wrestler, Dusty Rhodes or whatever it is.
Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, The Graduate with
The Graduate,
Dusty Rhodes.
But this has the songs from that movie, like America and Mrs. Robinson are here. And honestly, I thought those were the only two songs like worth listening to in the whole album.
Okay.
Like what I learned from listening to Bookends and Bridge Over Troubled Water, which is kind of those are their two like watermark albums, right? Was that I don't like Simon and Garfunkel. I don't like them. You know,
I never really listened to them.
they're just soft. They just were making soft, like super soft, like singer-songwriter music in like rock,
Ugh.
like super soft. You know,
It's like my least favorite kind of music,
it's
honestly.
just super soft. Like everything they say is like a whisper. They're just whispering, and there's nothing about it that is like, you know, it's just hello silence, my old friend. Every one of them, every song is that.
God, man.
I do have to say that Bridge Over Troubled Water, which is like their magnum album, their like magnum opus, the one that everybody loves, is their best album. Bridge Over Troubled Water, which is the first song, is actually like a really good song, and the song The Boxer is a really good song of that album. And then the other songs in there are kind of hit or miss, but I'm just not into the sound, man. Like I'm just not into this like 60s like super hippy dippy like just whispering for like 2 minutes over like wind chimes, you know, like it's it's not very
No,
it's not very
that's like my
compelling.
least. That's my least favorite thing to listen to. I can't listen to that shit.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's them.
Can't do it.
That's their gimmick,
Can't
dude.
do it.
That's their
I
gimmick.
do like how people are catching on or are still using that "Hello Silence, my old friend"
Yeah.
meme though, because I saw something the other day. It was a clip where on Joe Rogan's show, he has this show where he has like Shane Gillis and a bunch of other guys on,
Yeah, the
and
Protect the Parks show.
I think he does it. Is that what it is?
It is what it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, because they do it regularly.
They
Yeah.
do it regularly.
So, and there was a clip where I don't know, it was one of those things where Joe Rogan says oh that was a bomb or something, and then someone goes, oh, like your last special or something, and then Joe just goes like, huh. But someone in the comments goes like, oh yeah, at the 28-second mark you can really see hello, you can really hear "Hello Darkness, my old friend" playing as if you look at his face.
Yeah. Well, because that guy, Elephant Graveyard on YouTube, go check him out. He has the best like takedowns of these guys. Like,
Oh, really?
I've sent you his videos. Like, I've sent you his videos. Like on like I've texted them to you, because he's the one that has that video that is like Joe Rogan comedy czar. He's the guy that has that video.
Oh yes, yeah.
That
I
guy
love that.
has like bar none the best like takedowns, both
Yeah.
from a character perspective and from a comedy perspective, of all of these guys, all of these jokers that are fucking terrible comedians. Rogan, and Hinchcliffe, and all these guys, terrible
Tony
comedians.
Hinchcliffe. Oh,
Yeah. Terrible
that
comedians.
whole scene, man. The only Shane Gillis is the only good
He's the
one
only good
out
one.
of that whole scene.
Him and Ari Shafir, they're good. Everybody else.
Oh, you like Ari Shafir?
I like Ari
huh?
Shafir. Ari's good. Check his special on YouTube. He has a special on YouTube. I think it's just called Jew. Check that one out. That's a really good one.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch
yeah,
that
I recommended
actually.
you that one before.
You did. I forgot that was him.
Yeah,
That's him?
That's him. Sorry.
Okay. I gotta
But
check that out.
yeah, him and Shane are the only decent ones. But fucking Tony and Rogan and all the other dudes, they're fucking terrible, man.
Yeah.
And it feels great that the Elephant Graveyard guy just does these videos where he just takes them down, because
Yeah.
he did a video of Rogan's last special where he's just like, he was like, this is career ending, like bad,
Yeah.
so it's really funny that somebody commented that.
Uh,
That's it for my recap.
cool, man. Well, for me, it's been a mix of things to watch to keep my head on straight, and yeah, actually, no, just all stuff to keep my head on straight. Actually,
Yeah, keep yourself
in this
going.
last week.
Watching Heat.
What'd you say?
So just to keep yourself going, as I watching Heat.
Yeah, yeah. No, I really am okay. I feel pretty good actually over the past week, but it's like
Well, that's good to hear.
I do stand by everything I said too, though, about nostalgia. It's interesting to talk about, It's
Yeah.
like it's interesting to life's unpredictable, man. But anyway, my favorite movies are comfort, right? So like Heat, kind of a weird comfort movie, but it is in a
Yeah.
way. It's one of those movies. It's like it's cool. You get to watch these guys who are cool and disciplined do their thing, and it's awesome. So I rewatched Heat, and yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 movie.
Yes.
I'm still reading the sequel right now. The novelization of the sequel that hasn't been made yet. So kind of interesting there. Written by Michael Mann, co-authored with somebody else, but and the sequel's great. I'm really liking it. And yeah, Heat. I think what's interesting about Heat, when you watch it, is what it's kind of saying about having people around you that you care about, and how important it is to have a support system. Because if you notice something interesting in Heat, is that the only people who make it out alive or get what they want are the people who lean on the people in their lives, right? So like, De Niro's character, Neil, gets got at the end, right? Because he leaves his girl behind. Leaves his girl to fend for herself when he sees the heat around the corner. Boom, he gets got, right? The character Michael Cerrito, he's the kind of tough guy in the crew. I mean, they're all tough guys, but he's the dude with the buzzed hair.
Yeah.
He I think it's interesting in that movie because he has a bunch of kids, right? He has a bunch of little kids. And then he actually gets got during the bank robbery when he takes a child hostage.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a child hostage, boom. Al Pacino caps him, which I don't know what the protocol is on that. I don't know if you're actually supposed to,
Right.
like what is the protocol on that? I was wondering that when I watched that scene. Like, if someone has a hostage, are you allowed to be like, well, I could still get their head. I got them.
I don't think so. I think you're basically supposed to just let them go.
Yeah,
Like, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't think you're like, nah, I got a bullseye. I got this.
I'm a great marksman. I got this. Don't worry.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like, that's one of those things. It's like, if it goes well, you look awesome.
If it goes wrong,
but if it goes bad, you're an idiot.
Yeah. It goes terribly wrong.
And you're fired.
Yes.
And potentially sued by the family.
Yes.
So, but who gets away in that movie? Who gets away? It's Val Kilmer's character, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's Chris. Who did I say before? Michael Cerrito.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I okay. Never mind. Reboot. Chris's character. He the whole time, the whole movie is still remains with his wife, loves his wife. He tells Neil, nah man, I'm staying with her. For me, the sun rises and sets with her, like I'm with her. And because of that, his character is rewarded at the end when he goes to see her and she gives him sort of the signal. She gives him the little hand signal, basically telling him, like, nope, the heat's on. You got to go. So he leaves. And he gets away. So I think that movie's very philosophically consistent. And yeah, besides being awesome, it's actually got a lot of heart. There's a great love story in there. That movie is so much more than just some heist, bank heist movie. There's a lot going on in that movie too. And this was Blair's first time watching it, and he was like, I liked that, but there was a lot going on. It was hard to keep up. I do kind of agree with that.
Yeah,
there's a ton going on. You have essentially the whole movie is subplots that all just converge at the end. That's really what that movie is. And it's really awesome, but it is, sometimes it does take a few watches. I wouldn't fault anyone who needs like a couple watches to fully grasp what's
heavy.
Going on.
It's a 3-hour long movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's a couple of weird, it's not flawless. I mean, I think it's a perfect movie in the sense of how much I love it. It's a 10 out of 10 to me. I will never take it down from a 10 out of 10 probably, but it's in my top 4 on my Letterboxd profile page. But there are some flaws with the movie. There's some weird contrivances. Like how did Waingro, the crazy dude with the long hair, even figure out about Van Zant, right? To team up with him, the white collar dude, to take down Neil's crew. Like, how did he even find out about that guy? Maybe there's an answer, but I don't know. And then Pacino's partner gets clipped. And there's no scene where he even reacts to it. They just boom, they move on. But I realized that because then in the Heat 2 novel, he laments on it a little bit. His character dwells on it, and it's like, oh yeah, that was really unceremonious in the movie. So there's things like that, but overall it's a perfect movie still, I think. And then moving on. Blair and I did a rewatch of Cars because when you're going through a stressful time and you gotta revisit childhood a little bit, man. You don't want to totally regress, but it's important, I think, to revisit those childhood classics. Compartmentalize a little bit. Just be a kid for a little while again. Yeah. Take your mind off shit. Don't think about it all the time. Yeah. So yeah, man, rewatch Cars. Cars is fucking awesome. I think any writer should study Cars because it's just such a good structure and character arc and everything. And yeah, I think oddly enough, actually after I rewatched Cars, I was like, that movie kind of has the same fucking themes as Heat. It's like the same thing, where it's like it's about a guy who doesn't need anybody at the beginning, but then he's like, oh no, actually I need people in my corner. Right. But in Cars, it's a positive character arc, where in Heat, it's more of a negative arc.
Yeah, I have to rewatch that movie because I never liked that movie. Like, it's one of those movies that always give me like a bad vibe.
Really?
It was like Elf with Will Ferrell for me. It just gave me a bad vibe. So I have to actually rewatch that movie to see if I can find something to appreciate.
Yeah, Cars is very nostalgic for me. I mean, anything Pixar before, like everything pre-Brave or whatever that movie was, Pixar did Brave. Because that's when, to me, when I was a kid, I remember when Brave was coming out, I was like, that doesn't look like a Pixar movie.
Yeah,
I remember just being like,
it also kind of isn't. It's like a weird one. It's not a bad movie, but it's a weird one for them.
Yeah, and at the same time, I had also just gotten older, so it's like it just felt like this weird ending to an era. But anything Pixar that's pre-Brave is very nostalgic, just as for a lot. Same with a lot of us, Monsters Inc., Bugs Life, Cars, Toy Story, Ratatouille, right? All that shit. I think Monsters Inc. is the best. I think Bugs Life is an underrated classic. I love Bugs Life. But Cars is one where, Cars is really nostalgic to me because I remember when we were kids, we would always watch that one like on road trips for some reason. like you have the little one of those mini TVs where you pop the VHS in, and
Mm.
or later on with the DVD, and we were always watching that one whenever we would go on road trips.
You're in a car and you're watching Cars, dude. It's
Exactly.
Carsception.
Makes sense, right? Carception. Yeah. That'd be funny if the director of Cars came out and was like, yeah, no, the lore, the official lore is there's people inside the cars. They're embedded into the machinery.
Yeah, yeah. The souls are in the machine.
It is one of those movies. It's like I know
Like, what
we're
is
going over
happening here?
I know. Obviously it doesn't take one iota away from the movie.
Yeah.
This is not a serious point, but you do watch it and you're just like, dude, how'd they build that building? Like,
Right.
how did they fucking, it is fun to sit there and pick at that a little bit because you're like, they're all in the stadium. You're like, how'd they get in the stadium? How'd they get up those stairs?
Yeah.
How'd they, like, you know, it's fun. All
Yeah.
right. It's not a serious point, but it's funny.
No, and they also were like, oh fuck it, let's just do that. Just do the movie.
Yeah.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And yeah, I gotta say, Larry the Cable Guy's Mater is fucking great, man. Like one of
Yeah.
my favorite moments in that movie is when they're hooking Lightning McQueen up to Betsy, the asphalt machine, but before he hooks him up, he takes the parking boot off, and then Lightning just pew, like fucking zooms away, and then Mater goes, yeah, he's just like, maybe I should have hooked him up to Betsy and then taking the boot off. And it's like fucking great performance, man.
Yeah.
And then I went down another little nostalgia route. I used to, when I was younger, around like 10, 11, 12 years old, I got really into like 1950s giant monster movies, but the American ones, the Atomic Age giant monster movies, and I liked to watch them during the summer for some reason. I don't know. I like sci-fi during the summer, I guess. And I actually had never seen this one, but it's still nostalgic because it's like, I liked the movies of this ilk when I was a kid. So I watched The Deadly Mantis. It's exactly what it sounds like. The giant praying mantis, everybody. This one's not very good. Give it like a 4 out of 10. It's just one of those tried and true B movies. Really thin on plot, characters and the monsters kind of boring. It really makes me appreciate one like the movie Them from 1954, which is it's sort of the gold standard for 1950s giant monster movies. Like you kind of you got like a triangle. You have Godzilla, the original Godzilla, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and Them. That's like the triune 1950s giant monster staple, right? And Them is of course like the giant ants, the staple big bug monster movie of the time.
Right.
And it really made me realize like, oh man, yeah, that one's actually really good, because where The Deadly Mantis is just, it's kind of boring. You're waiting for characters to you're watching characters solve a mystery that you as the audience already know. Whereas like the movie Them you watch and you do know it's giant ants, but it's just very compelling. Like the movie starts and it's out in the desert and the wind's blowing and these two cops, they find this girl who's in a fugue state and she seems to be lost. And then they pull up to this drugstore and the owner is missing and there's blood on the floor and there's a shotgun on the floor and the place is a wreck. And they're like, there's a fucking giant hole in the wall, but it looks like someone pulled it out and not, so that's weird. And the movie just builds suspense so well. So it really made me appreciate how well done a select few, such as Them or Godzilla or Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, were done in the 1950s. I'm actually planning to write a novella that's sort of a modern spin on 1950s Atomic Age giant monster movies, but I'm, of course, adding sort of an AI spin onto it because We live in 2026.
Right.
So it was also a little bit of research for that. It also got me thinking about just sci-fi monster movies in general. And I think what filmmakers started doing that was really effective was when you got to movies like Alien or Predator, what they started doing was they would leave the creatures off of the poster and out of the promotional material. So you're never, whatever the characters know, you also as the audience know. That's sort of the problem with some of the giant monster movies in the 1950s. Even a great movie like Them, you have this big, beautiful poster where it's these giant ants
So you know
eating
exactly
people.
what's going on.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're sort of spending like 20 minutes watching characters piece together things you already know. Them is good though because even when they figure out what it is, they're still solving additional unknown information.
Mhm.
So it's still compelling. But that was something that they really fixed, I think, when you got around to like the late 1970s with Alien and Predator and things like that, where they were like, well, let's not even fucking tell the audience what this is,
Right.
you know, and they'll find it out at the same time the characters do. That was definitely a stroke of brilliance, or a needed change, I think, in monster movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then let's see. Then a couple shows. Dude, I tried to watch that Cape Fear show, Blair and I.
Yeah.
Terrible. So bad.
Really?
Dude, we were making fun of it so hardcore.
Yeah.
It's awful. Like, it just makes me want to watch the
movie?
Scorsese film.
Yeah. That's
Because you're watching this.
fascinating.
Oh my God, it's so bad, dude. It's so bad.
Huh.
We watched the first episode. We won't be continuing. It you can already predict some of the issues with it.
Mhm.
They're taking a movie and they're stretching the idea out into a
Yeah.
miniseries.
How
That's
how
already
long is this thing even supposed to be?
I don't know. I would guess 8 episodes. And you're just watching. I mean, I think that one of the worst parts about it is the dialogue. The dialogue is just horribly written. It's really distracting. Characters speaking in just really wooden and robotic ways. We've all seen bad dialogue. We know what bad dialogue sounds like. Dialogue awful. And it does so much telling and no showing. There's a part where like the daughter, she pulls out 4 dead skunks out of the pool, and the Amy Adams, the mom, walks over. She's like, "Honey, what are you doing?" You know, and the daughter's like, "A family of skunks drowned in the pool." And she's like, "Well, you know, skunks are dumb, I guess." And it's like, this doesn't concern you that
Right.
there's 4 dead skunks in your pool. Someone put them there.
Right.
Like, this should raise more of an eyebrow. And like even so, this should, even if you don't immediately jump to that conclusion, you should be reacting in a different way than this.
Right.
It's just so boring. And then, dude, Javier Bardem as the De Niro character, his performance is fine, but just his the way his character's written is terrible. Like, he just comes in and he just monologues. I think there's probably like 15 minutes of him monologuing in that episode, I swear to God. And it's just so boring. Awful. Don't recommend at all. However, then Blair remembered this other Amy Adams show that she's been wanting to watch called Sharp Objects. It's a little older,
Oh yeah, well,
but
I've
it's
seen that
based.
one.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. What'd you think about it?
It's whatever. Like, I thought it was kind of one of those shows that it's like interesting at the beginning and then really boring and then interesting in the end. Kind of that, you know.
Okay. Damn.
Like,
I'm a little less excited about it now.
It never
but-
helped my case for what for like getting into television. You know, it was just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I will say, I mean, so what's interesting is you probably know this, but it's based on something that the author of Gone Girl wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that was definitely a plus going into it. But it was really striking as a writer when because we watched the Cape Fear episode and then we had time for another episode of television, so we were like, well, let's start the Sharp Object show.
Mhm.
So we watched that, and it's amazing watching like two episodes of two different things back to back, one with just shitty writing and one with really good writing.
Right.
And it was like, as a writer, I was just like, whoa, you really
Whoa.
can. If you want a good writing exercise, try that sometime. Try watching something that is like, is shitty back to back with something that's great.
Yeah.
And really try to figure out, like, what is it? What is it about these things that makes one shitty and one great? And it's really interesting to do that, to have experienced that back to back like that. Because you go into Sharp Objects and it's like, already, it's like the dialogue is sharp. People are actually speaking the way people speak.
Mm-hmm.
And there's less dialogue overall, too. You just watch characters doing things and actually living their lives.
Right.
Not everything's being explained to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like objectively less happens in the first episode. Like less shit goes down in the first episode of Sharp Objects than Cape Fear, but it's still better.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. But yeah, that's it for me, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those it's one of those, man, where, I think we watched it maybe like 5 years ago and I was just kind of like like,
Yeah.
it's just a constant thing with me in TV shows, man. It's just constant.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Severance. It's just constant. It has to be. But we did watch the whole show, and it's not a bad show at all. It's just kind of like, so it gets a little dull. That's it. But
Mhm.
but again, it's just like what can you do? Film tangents, everybody. Jake, what do you have for us next week?
I figured next week we would just do a commentary. Let's do a commentary on Terminator 2, dude. Just kick back,
Holy
watch
crap.
Terminator 2.
All right.
Summer movie, have a good old time, man.
All right. Everybody, I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is a fun one. So, see ya next time on Film Tangents.
Adios.